Congratulations, Tyler Dobbs, number 34. Now we have number 40, Jacob Krasinski, linebacker, running back, wide receiver, and punter. Escorting Jacob tonight is his dad, Brian, his mom, Brooke Gamble, and brother, Kane. His favorite memory of Falcon football was going to Disney World his sophomore year. Jacob's plans after graduation are to continue playing football in college. Congratulations, Jacob Krasinski. Next we have number 43, Connor DePasquale, middle linebacker. Escorting Connor tonight are his dad, Kevin, and grandfather, Stephen Begwin. His favorite memory of Falcon football is everything. His plans after graduation for Connor include enlisting in the United States Marine Corps. Thank you, Connor. Congratulations. Now we have number 57, Kevin Reel, defensive tackle. Escorting Kevin tonight are his mom and dad, Patrick and Teresa. Kevin's favorite memory of Falcon football is rolling with the boys. Plans after graduation include studying computer science in college. Congratulations, Kevin Reel. Now we have number 63, Jaden Walker, O-line and D-line. Escorting him tonight are his mom and dad, Lisa and Rob, and also his grandma. Jaden's favorite memory of Falcon football is playing on the left side of the O-line. Jaden's plans after graduation are to go to college to study accounting and also to play football. Congratulations, Jaden Walker. Now we have number 64, Austin Johnson, a.k.a. Salsa, right guard. Escorting him tonight are his mom, Christine, dad, Curtis, and grandma, Debbie. Austin's favorite memory of Falcon football is celebrate Saturdays with the boys. His plans after graduation is to head over to buildup, play for the CU Buffs. Congratulations, Austin Johnson. Now we have number 72, Eddie Ellis from the O-line and the D-line. Escorting Eddie tonight are his dad, Ed, mom, Nikki, grandpa, Ed, and grandma, Kathy. Eddie's favorite memory of Falcon football is the chance to play quarterback last season, and his plans after graduation are to attend college and to become a veterinarian. Congratulations, Eddie Ellis. Number 74, Drake Nugent is next, center and defensive tackle. Escorting Drake tonight are his mom and dad, Terry and Amy. Drake's favorite memory of Falcon football is every Monday night O-line hog dinners. Drake's plans after graduation are to pursue academics and play football in college. Congratulations, Drake Nugent. We're done with our football team. We now have our student athletic trainer extraordinaire, Allison Jacob, escorting Allison tonight on her mom and dad, Holly and Jacob. Allison's favorite memory is winning the Douglas County School District Student Training at Aid competition. Her plans after graduation are to attend Clemson University or North Carolina State. Congratulations, Allison Jacob. Thanks for all your help. And now we have the bellman, Kyle Lynch. Escorting Kyle tonight are his mom and dad, Diane and Brian. Kyle's favorite memory of Falcon football is when the fans rush the field after beating Regis in overtime. Kyle's plans after graduation are to go to CU to get a bachelor's degree and have a good time. Imagine that. Congratulations, Kyle Lynch. Now we'll move on to our two seniors on the Palms team. First we have Shayla Devlin. Escorting Shayla tonight are her mom and dad, Erica and Randy. Shayla's favorite memory is transferring to Highlands Ranch and joining the Palms team. Her plans after graduation include attending American University to play Division I lacrosse. Congratulations, Shayla Devlin. Our other senior on the Palms team is Tessa Calori. Escorting Tessa tonight are her mom and sister, Lynette and Taylon. Tessa's favorite memory is going to camp and spending all that time dancing with my teammates and staying in the dorms and taking first place. Tessa's plans after graduation are to attend Metropolitan State University of Denver. Congratulations, Tessa. Now we move on to our marching band seniors tonight. First we have Sean Costello, escorted by his parents, Gail Howard and David Costello. Sean plans to attend the University of Oregon to study psychology. Congratulations, Sean Costello. Abigail Cummins, also a senior, escorted tonight by her parents, Arnie and Derek Cummins. Abby plans to study fertility in college and hopes of becoming a fertility doctor. Her favorite band memory was at Friendship Cup this year when all of the bands from the district came together and started doing stand cheers along with everybody participating in the wave. Congratulations, Abby Cummins. Now we have Lauren Lee, escorted by her parents, May and Jen Lee. Lauren plans to study engineering at Rensselaer Polytech Institute in New York. Congratulations to Lauren Lee. Elizabeth Lee is next. She is escorted by her parents, Yen Lang and Rishi Lee. Lee plans to attend Rice University in Houston, Texas, and to work on honing her sushi rolling skills. Congratulations, Elizabeth Lee. Next up, we've got Cameron McMillan, escorted by his mother, Sherry Spencer. Cameron plans to study music education at the University of Colorado in Colorado Springs after graduating. Congratulations, Cameron McMillan. Now we have two twins that are seniors in band. We have Alexi and Dennis Meehan, escorted by their parents, Leela and Sean. Alex and Dennis are both planning to study electrical engineering. Alex will be attending CU Colorado Springs, and Dennis will be at CU Denver. Congratulations to Alex and Dennis. Now we have Stephanie Schubert, escorted by her parents, Amy and David Schubert. Stephanie wants to attend CU Boulder, but is undecided on her major. Her favorite band memory is meeting all the other amazing band students. Congratulations, Stephanie Schubert. Regan Scroggins is next. She is escorted by her parents, Lauren and Brian. Regan is planning to study animal sciences at Purdue University of Oregon to study psychology. Congratulations to Regan Scroggins. Now we have Nathan Stansberry. Nathan is escorted by his parents, Janine and Cody. Nathan plans to study nuclear engineering at Stanford University. Congratulations, Nathan Stansberry. Now we have Allison Stiles. Allison is escorted by her parents, Trisha and Scott Stiles. She plans to study biomedical engineering and neuroscience. Congratulations to our senior in band, Allison Stiles. Now we've got Daniel Swan. Daniel is escorted by his parents, Kim and Richard Swan. He is planning to study aeronautical engineering at the Colorado School of Mines. Congratulations to Daniel Swan. And we have another set of twins in the band that are seniors. We have Peter and William Wilson. They are escorted by their parents, Allison and Brian Wilson. Pete plans to double major in philosophy and English. Will plans on, after graduation, having a major in music education. Congratulations to our second set of twins in band, Peter and William Wilson. Now we have Charity Mae Winston. Charity Mae is escorted by her parents, Anika Christian and Scott Dunn. Ty plans to double major in biology and English and have a minor in performing arts at the University of Colorado Boulder. Her most memorable moments in band are the adrenaline rush after every competition performance. And finally, last but not least, W's are still good. Alexis escorted by her parents, Julie and Jeff. Alexis plans to study either biomedical or environmental engineering at the Colorado School of Mines. Let's hear from all of our seniors tonight in football, athletic training, the barrel band, bones, and also band. Congratulations, seniors. We'll get a football game going here very shortly.
Mike, you did a great job, and you're going to love it. That was Mike Best.
Number 63, James Walker. Number 64, Austin Johnson. And number 74, Drake Nugent. The officials for tonight's game: referee Kyle Lester, umpire Rex Watson, head linesman Tim Fisher, line judge Ken Estes, and also Nate McCrary.
Mountain Vista has won the toss. David Ford. Highlands Ranch will receive in the north.
I'm afraid to see Mountain Vista has won the toss. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to ask you to stand. Please remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem, performed tonight by our very own Highlands Ranch Regiment Marching Band.
Cash is going to give everything he has to win this game. Look for some key players such as Campbell Lancaster at quarterback and Ethan Ward at running back. These are going to be the main guys you're going to watch out for on offense, just to see whether or not, or to see if they can effectively run the ball, and on 3rd and long, if they can get the ball downfield quickly and get some big 3rd down conversions. Defensively, you're going to look for a lot of cover 0 defense, meaning they're going to put a safety back and try to attack up front, put 7 in the box. Mainly try to shut down the great quarterback in Jacob Rubley, who for the class of 2021 is ranked 2nd nationally in the nation. It's going to be a very difficult task, especially with the lack of size they have up front, but it's going to be a challenge Coach Cash is willing to accept.
It will indeed be a challenge, but we are looking forward to it. It should be a fantastic game as the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles set up to kick off. It is a chilly one, ladies and gentlemen. Got the beautiful Colorado skyline of the mountains. Oh, what a great horizon it is. Just a gentle glow over the mountains. It's what you really love to see. Our producer, Blaze Shower, also loves to see it. We also love to see him at producer. He's the best one out there, ladies and gentlemen. And here comes Mountain Vista with the kick. A low drive will be returned. Started at the 5, works his way up, still on his feet, but will not get too much more after contact, and the ball will be placed at the 26-yard line, and the Falcons will take the field.
And one guy to look out for, keep an eye on number 2, Jake Rubley. This is a sophomore quarterback who's already received offers from Power 5 schools in college like South Carolina and Texas Tech. He is one of the best quarterbacks you will be able to see, and it is going to be a challenge for Mountain Vista to stop him. It's going to be fun. I've never seen him play on the field in person before, so I'm intrigued for this matchup.
Only time will tell how this offense is going to run. They have so much versatility with such a big O-line. You can see as we penetrate through that line, we read the pitch perfectly and take them down for a loss of 3.
Yeah, that's number 6, Gerald Trahan, their main running back. Vista and Highlands Ranch are alike in that they like to run the ball a lot, and Trahan is a nice runner. He can line up as a wide receiver. They'll have him run in motion on the handoffs, and it's going to be interesting to see the Mountain Vista, who don't have a lot of size up front, if they can stop him. If they can run that play all night long, they have a shot.
We might be seeing a blitz on top. Turns out that is not the case. Rubley goes out. There is a flag on the play. Would be a pickup of about 6 or 7.
It'll be interesting to see what the penalty is, but it looked like Mountain Vista was looking for the run again, and Rubley able to fool him with that quick catch and release. For right now, it's a nice gain, and it's going to be a defensive penalty, or it looks like it might be offsetting.
Offensive penalty, it looks like, by the judging of the referee's hand pointing in the direction of the Highlands Ranch Falcons. Some confusion is still on there, so we don't quite know yet what is happening. But judging by the fact that Highlands Ranch is moving back, and there it is a penalty on the Falcons.
Yeah, an eligible man downfield. It was Austin Johnson who got called with the penalty, and that is a slightly costly one. They had a nice 5-yard gain, and instead they're going to have to go backwards 5 yards. And now Mountain Vista has Highlands Ranch right where they want him, a 2nd and 15, a crucial opening 3 and out. Would be huge in Mountain Vista getting a big second victory tonight.
It's all about the morale, and if we can get this crucial 2nd and 15, if we can just hold them to a short gain, you can see a blitz coming on, but the ball is held onto by Rubley. What a fantastic read option. He sees the blitz coming up from the top, takes it for a gain of about 7, it looks like, and makes this 3rd down and more manageable. Still about a 6-yard gain to go to convert this 3rd down. And this little no huddle, they're going for a quick play. You can see 3 receivers on the bottom all bunched up. And we'll have a 3 in the box spread. You can see 3 up front on the O-line and 3 defensive backs waiting to see what they do. He looks to pass, completes it in the middle. Receiver catches and runs, number 19 to the 50-yard line. 19.
Yeah, that was Lance Opp on the catch, but you could see Rubley there. It's nice when you have a nice quarterback who can run a great RPO offense to catch Mountain Vista on their heels, able to get the nice pass, find a guy in space, and get it all the way down to midfield.
Why don't you explain to us what an RPO offense is?
So RPO offense is a run-pass option.
Okay.
Basically means that Jacob Rubley has the ability when he takes the snap to look at the defense and see whether or not he wants to hand the ball off to his running back or take it himself and run it, or check it downfield and pass it. And that is a nice run up the middle. That looks like number 30.
34 with a gain of about 15 yards. Started on the 50, now on the Golden Eagle 35-yard line.
Yeah, that was Dylan Garul, one of the 2 running backs Highlands Ranch is going to throw out there, and that's going to be nice confusion for Mountain Vista. And that's great for an offense, is when you have 2 different running backs with 2 different running styles. Really gets a defense on his heels as they give him another run, and looks like Mountain Vista can stop him here.
Yep, about a gain of 4. And you can see how fast-paced this offense is and why they can just keep rattling off plays. Rubley is now going back to the coach, see what to run. And as he heads back, he'll have a different a different mindset, different game plan for this 2nd down and 7. Runner in motion, and the ball goes to him. It is red, possibly a loss of 3. Beautiful read by the Mountain Vista defense. As soon as they see him run in motion, they immediately take charge, thinking that it might be a bait, but it definitely doesn't hurt to follow up, and it worked out for the best. And here's a 3rd down and 10.
It looks like they're going to run a lot of Trahan in the motion. Mountain Vista is expecting that, and they're stopping him every time. And now this is another crucial 3rd and long. Mountain Vista needs to get the stop here.
And another 3 bunch on top. You see him looking in that direction. takes a shot, beautiful pass, and it is completed to the 10-yard line. And that's what makes Rubley so great. He has great vision downfield with his 6'2" stature, and he can just drill those pinpoint throws. And also a pretty nice snag there for one heck of a gain.
Yeah, it looked like the secondary was a little confused on that one. Let the receiver just wide open, had lots of room to run.
Yep.
And now it's a big first down and goal.
They seem to be a bit confused by this bunch, this little 3 bunch that may be on the top or on the bottom. And this little powerful run, gain of 4.
Yeah, nice power running by Dylan Gurul, it looks like again. It looks like they're going to have Gurul be their power runner and have Trahan on the motion trying to get some speed up the middle.
Yep, very speedy. You can see that he also lines up to receive. This goal line defense was good against Legend High School. Little jump, nothing too serious though. He goes back to pass. Oh, great defense. Who was that? Number 21. What fantastic defense. Beautiful bat down. And he's showing off that swagger. He deserves it.
That is Grant Shells, one of their leading defensive backs, the senior. He has been clutch at corner for Mountain Vista, and when you're able to lock down on a receiver like that, and it looks like they're going to have a little bit of confusion up front by the referees.
On the spot, it was put a yard back from where it should be, and I think they cleared it all up. But I'm going to be completely honest in saying that I thought that ball was caught. It was a good pass, and then Grant Shells out of nowhere just gets that arm in there. Completely legal play, and what a beautiful play it was.
And now here's a big third down and goal. If Vista can hold him to a field goal, as Rubley.
That read option, and he does not take it to the house, about 2 yards shy. And it looks like the field goal unit is coming out. What clutch third down defense, especially when it's within 6 yards of touchdown. That's the real clutch that we need, and that kind of should get the offense going. Maybe say our defense is here to play. They're here to give up as little points as possible. And let's see how this field goal ends up. Oh, it's blocked and picked up. Oh, he's taking it, pushed out of bounds. Wow, the defense showed up to play. Even after such a big gain, they really buckled down. They knew what they needed to do, and they really, that's just clutch. I can't even put it into words.
Yeah, that was Bryce Williams, the senior captain up front, and the reason why they called it down is whenever the ball goes into the end zone, it is automatically ruled a touchback in high school football. But he has made a lot of good plays in the secondary. And, of course, just a great job getting the block there. And now there's a little bit of a momentum swing as now Mountain Vista able to keep Highlands Ranch. Instead of holding them to 3, they hold them to 0. And now Campbell Lancaster has a chance to really come up clutch.
The perfect scenario for starting on a 1st and goal from the 8. There's really nothing better you could have possibly done. I mean, I would have been happy with holding them to a field goal if I'm in this Golden Eagle fan base, but 0 is all the better. Takes the snap. Is completely missed, and he has to roll on it. A great loss, and that'll be put at about the 3-yard line. Very disappointing, especially coming after some. They should be fired up, and such a play like that where you lose a yard, or where you lose a down and 15 yards, that can really destroy some momentum. And momentum, my philosophy is, it's the most important thing in the game because one thing leads to another, and the brain will remember every single act. And a great defensive rush comes in, takes the running back down for no gain.
Yeah, but it seemed like some early nerves from the center, Cody Zayonk. And, of course, that is just going to cost you, as now they got a 3rd down and 25 back at their own 5-yard line. Not even that. It looks like it's at their own 2. Now you just got to hope you don't let them get a safety, and they're going to try to air it downfield. But obviously some early disaster for the Golden Eagles, for both sides, really.
Yeah, that's very true. Just looking to pick up a couple yards. He's got open green ahead of him. You know, that's something that it's exactly what they were trying to do. They know that a 1st down is nearly impossible unless the play design is just perfect. But that just gives more breathing room for the punter. It just makes it more manageable than having the ball on the 2 and for the punter to line up.
Yeah, great job by Noah Hicks on the screen. Gives a little more room for Jacob Barrett to punt this ball downfield, and still not going to be very deep, but it's going to get a great Vista bounce.
And looks like they'll let it roll for as long as it'll go, and it'll be at the 41-yard line. A good punt, especially when he kicks it from the goal line.
Yeah, great punt there by Jacob Barrett. Got a great bounce, but it's still a great field position for Highlands Ranch. Jake Rubley has a chance to show off his skills and get Highlands Ranch on the board early, as both teams have had early first opening drive disasters. It's going to be a nail biter, it looks like, on either side, and it's going to be whoever makes the least mistakes.
Yep, a little offensive hiccup on the Falcons their last drive, but they look to clean things up. They were looking very solid up to that goal line stand from the Mountain Vista defense. We'll see what they do different. Possibly pass more, but they go for the run. They get nowhere. They lose 1 yard. Just lock down D-line. It's what you love to see.
Yeah, another power run there by Dylan Garul, and I'm a little shocked because watching some of the previous Mountain Vista games, their biggest weakness has been their lack of size up front, but early in this one, they've really shut down the running game for all their backs, and they forced Rubley to throw the ball.
And especially with such notable power on this Falcon O-line, you see multiple 6'5 plus, 250-pound plus. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers. I'm sure Color Bryce Tracy does. But Rubley scrambles. No gain, it looks like. We'll see where the spot is. Possibly 1 yard. They give him a generous 2 yards, it looks like. Now, Chief, I don't know about that one, but 3 yards, I mean.
Yeah, they're going to give him a nice 4-yard gain, but that's a great job by Jake Rubley, able to scramble out of the pocket when the defensive line is putting pressure on these big guys. You're looking at 250, 260, some guys even 280 on this offensive line, and they're running right through them.
Yet another third down that the Highlands Ranch High School Falcons have to deal with, and a big-time sack. You see number 44 up there, number 48 up there. It's a bit hard to see. We're up here on the roof. It's a tad bit chilly.
Yeah, that was a great stop there. It looked like Caden Strassheim, the sophomore, was in on the stop, and now that forces a big-time punt. I'm really shocked. This defensive line, they're just trying to charge up the middle, and they're getting tons of success on this offensive line. Obviously, size isn't everything on the offensive line. You got to be able to get the blocks, and Highlands Ranch hasn't been able to do that.
A good spiral punt is received. Ooh, big hit.
That was a hard hit. That was Williams on the return.
And the special teams has looked strong. I mean, besides the field goal punt, but I mean, that physically looked strong. A big hit if I've ever seen one as far as high school football goes.
Yeah, not only is Bryce Williams one of the better defensive secondary guys that Mountain Vista has, he is their best special teams player. So number 2 on both sides are guys to look out for in this one.
And Campbell Lancaster drops behind center, looks to take a shotgun, and we'll see 3 receivers out, 1 more in motion for a screen, but he goes for the air out, a little too deep. Also good coverage. Nothing you can do there.
Yeah, it looked like a little pushing and shoving there. Wyatt Evans, the intended receiver, and Lancaster just overthrew his man there. Tried to fake the screen and obviously the motion, trying to get Highlands Ranch defense off guard, but didn't work there. Now they're going to have to go back to second down.
I'll look for possibly a draw right here. Try to get a couple yards so as you don't have a 3rd down and 10. You see number 11 in motion. The ball will go to him for a pickup of 1 yard. Not the most profitable play, but I guess a 3rd and 9 is better than a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, they're trying to run the same play that Highlands Ranch has been running, catching Jacob Barrett on the motion and only able to get about a yard or 2. But now this is going to be another big 3rd and long, and as this game has proven, it's going to be the defense is winning this game.
We see a one-on-one matchup on the bottom. Look out for that. Also a potential rush. Some pressure, just a little kind of emergency dump pass. Nothing becomes of it, and now the punting unit is on the field.
Yeah, they were just trying to get Matt Smith on the screen there, see if he could turn something upfield. Nothing there, and it looks like the way this game is going to go, the defense is not going to let you get anything on the sides. They're going to make you go north and south, and that is another punt that just gets a good bounce.
But it is anticipated and returned for what looks like 10 yards. It will be spotted at the 42. I am kidding. Oh yes, 42. Good to see the referees on the same page.
And once again, this defense is trying to charge up the front, forcing Rubley to get rid of the ball early. Look for him to try to spread the ball out with this spread offense, try to get a little more momentum. Obviously go back to that trips formation, the bunched up 3 receivers on top. Try to get the ball out quickly or else they're not going to get any success.
We are at the 2-minute and 30-second mark, and we are all knotted up at 0. We have seen flashes of good offense on the Falcons, but we also have on the Golden Eagles. As we stated earlier, these are very similar teams, and we really expected it to be a stalemate.
And it looks like there's a face mask penalty on the return against Highlands Ranch. That's going to knock them back all the way to
the 27.
That is crucial for Mountain Vista. Instead of Jake Ridley getting great field position again, now they're going to drive him back and put the pressure on number 2.
We'll still see what they can do with it. The defensive line shifted a little. We'll see what kind of... Oh, he does get through, but just in the wrong spot, and we'll see a pickup of a 6, it looks like.
Yeah, it looked like they got Brendan Moorhead right up the gut. He missed his man, and looks like he came up a little limpy on the end of that one, and now Rubley's going to try to hurry up after the successful run play by, looked like Garul.
Yep, and you see 55 trot off the field. Rubley with another option, pitches it back. The running back powers forward. That's what we've seen all day, is just powerful running, and they'll scrounge for every yard that they can get. We'll see if that moves the chains, and it does.
Yeah, that's just their power back on a 2nd and short. They're going to give it to Garul up the middle every single time, and it looks like they're starting to expose the weaknesses up front for the Vista D line, and well, they might start a drive here.
And the clock is running. You can see a bit of a time crunch as Rubley scrambles, has nothing but green ahead of him. Oh, and he's off. And a solid pickup. Started at the 38, and it ends up at the Golden Eagles 36.
Yeah, another great option play by Jake Rubley. Just fakes the handoff and goes up the gut himself, and Vista's defense cannot stop him. And that's why he's getting so many looks from Power 5 schools, is his ability to be a dual threat quarterback at such a young age.
Really some veteran moves right there by Jake Rubley. You can see his vision is almost impeccable when it comes to seeing through the defensive plays, and that just shows all of the research that he does prior to every game, and that's something that I can really respect a lot as we go under the 1-minute mark. And we'll see if they can get away with 3 or what happens of this drive.
Yeah, well, the clock is ticking, so they'll see whether they try to play it aggressive and get some points up in the opening frame, or they wait till the 2nd quarter and take it slow. And it looks like they're just going to let the clock run out here in the 1st quarter, try to run the clock down, get the defense a little jumpy.
And they do have timeouts, as far as I know. I don't know why they wouldn't just put one down. Of course, they still get the ball in the 2nd quarter, but you might want to see it as a bit of crunch time, maybe get a little practice should the game come down to drives like this in the 4th quarter, see how they would run it, see how they feel in the moment. And they will just let the clock run down and thus end the 1st quarter. Still knotted at 0. The Falcons will have the ball on a 3rd and 6 with the ball on the 32-yard line.
Fans, don't forget next week, tune in to the Mountain Vista football team as they play their senior night game with playoff chances on the line against their in-town rival, the Rock Canyon Jaguars. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock right here on VistaNow.
You know these seniors will have their eyes on the playoffs. There's nothing better than to go out on the right foot, and that's exactly what they look to do.
Yeah, it's been such a rough start to the season, and of course they don't want their last game to be next week. They want to play well into November, and while the odds are unlikely with powerhouses in Colorado like Valor and Grandview, who have already stomped on them earlier in the season, but they need this clutch victory, and a 0-0 first quarter hasn't happened all year, so that's something big for them.
And this Highlands Ranch record isn't really indicative of how they play. I know that this is a very powerful team, solid offense, solid defense, great prospects, and you can see this so far. They're a very, very well-developed team, a good offensive spread. You can see they have put in the read option in Jake Rubley's presence, and they run it well. It's something that I don't think the Golden Eagles have seen at this level before. They're not handling it terribly, but as we saw with that 40-yard gain from Jake Rubley, and also the pass threat, but is lit up. Is that Caden Strassheim again?
That is Caden Strassheim. They call him Crash for a reason.
They do call him Crash.
Great stop there. He read that pass the whole way, able to get the huge hit, and that's why as a sophomore he's getting as much playing time as he is. Haven't seen a whole lot of Jake DeLuca, but I guess I know why. They're going to put that guy in if he can make those big hits.
Big hit it was, and it looks like they're going to be going for it on 4th and 6, unless the scoreboard is faulty.
It does appear like it's 4th down, but with the 0-0 first quarter, Highlands Ranch is also looking for a playoff spot. They
you
need
can
everything
see a
they
rush,
can get.
but he gets through. Does he get to it? He does, and he will have about a pickup of 8, and it will be good enough to move the chains.
Great
Oh,
job.
what a spot. It is good for a first down, though, but that spot looked like 2 yards short of what he actually got.
Yeah, well, that's...
Oh, they call it. They call it back. How about that?
And they must have said his knee was down before he reached out. I thought that was a great run. Steven Smith had a great rush up the edge, and Rubley able to get away and get a nice gain.
Yeah, it was an Aaron Rodgers-esque scramble, and I thought it was good enough to move the chains, but it appears not, and now the ball is back in the Golden Eagles' hands at the 26-yard line.
Motion.
Ball's handed off. It looks good for about a half a yard.
Both teams are playing strong up front defensively. You saw the run there by Ethan Ward, not able to get anything, as both these D lines, while the size is quite different comparison-wise for both sides, they're both going to play heavy up front. They're both going to clog up the middle and force the quarterbacks to scramble. We haven't seen a lot of running from Campbell Lancaster. You know he has the ability as a former wide receiver before being re-promoted to quarterback middle of the season.
A ball aired out, too wide though, about 3-4 yards out of bounds. And that's what I want to see, honestly, as a spectator as well as a commentator, is to get these downfield plays. I think if you can complete one, you can complete another, and it'll just get the chains moving, and it looks like that's just what the offenses need on both sides right now. They get these small plays, but it's the big ones that really count, in my opinion. He does look to pass, but the ball is batted down, and a possible late tackle. It is not called. It looked like just a bit of a scruff right in there.
Yeah, intended receiver on the play was Wyatt Evans, but you could see on the defensive line some great plays. It looked like number 54 for Highlands Ranch defensively, Ethan Ashcroft, and, well, they're going to force Vista to go 3 and out, and they're going to fake it.
Oh, he's going for it. Oh, he's got it.
Jacob Barrett, the former quarterback, started the year at quarterback, was demoted for Campbell Lancaster, but he still has that ability to run. He's a wide receiver now, and
well, I wouldn't call it a demotion. He's still he does take shots behind center. He still runs. He still lines up as a receiver.
And they're going to call it short.
They do call it short. How about that?
They called both the Rubley and Barrett plays short. This is some interesting play calling. It looked like it was right on the marker, and the referees have overturned a couple of big fourth down calls.
Now, if we could have a replay function, we would have used it twice already. That's honestly the third spot that I've seen that I disagree with, honestly. And of course, I'm not really one to talk against the referees. They're here for a reason. But the ball is back in Rubley's hands with great field position already in Vista territory. A shot to no one as both of their heads had not turned until the ball was on the ground. That'll be good for nothing.
Yeah, Rubley, he's just being forced to throw the football. You can see this defensive line. They are charging up front, and while the offensive line has size, they don't really have a whole lot of movement, and they're just being thrown around and forcing Rubley to throw the ball with less than 2 seconds after the snap.
Yep.
And
solid pressure. Solid pressure. You gotta joke around a little bit. We're having fun out here, as cold as it may be. And on a 2nd and 10 with the ball on the 36, Rubley dumps it off. And he gets sandwiched on the tackle, but it is good for 3 yards, it looks like.
Yeah, they give it back to Gurul, just another power run up the middle.
More of a pitch, honestly, to the side, outside of the hashes.
Yeah, a lot of old school football, just running the ball the whole way. When your quarterbacks can't get the ball to throw, I guess there's nothing else you can really do. Instead of forcing them to pass, the defenses have really forced them to run.
And I think from the Falcon point of view, this is when you go for a shot. It's 3rd and 8. You want to show them why you're here and show them what you're capable of. As he does rip a pass, and that's going to be a pass interference on the Golden Eagles. You can see, even though it was not a catchable ball, he was pushed in the back. And I think that's what this call will be on. And now there's 2 flags on the field, a possible unsportsmanlike conduct, and that's really something you hate to see.
Yeah, the pass interference is going to go against Sam Cressa, who is known to have a little bit of a temper, but
he's got a fire. He's got a fire. That's what you want in your defense. You want some fire.
And now it's going to be a quick 1st and goal instead of a 3 and out for Highlands Ranch, and now Rubley has a chance to get his team on the board early, which, with the way these defenses are playing, every score matters.
Yeah, they really do, and it's just little slip-ups like this, one pass interference that turns into something catastrophic, and there's nothing you can do about it from a spectator point of view. You don't want them to get too fired up, but when they do, you can't blame them. But still, it's upon themselves to not have yet another 15 yards tacked on. And a rain of boos coming from the Mountain Vista side of spectators. They're all just livid, and rightfully so.
So they're going to call the pass interference on Crissa, it sounds like. And then the unsportsmanlike conduct was the argument by Rylan O'Donnell. And, of course, as a head coach, you know Coach Cash is going to be very angry, and, well, instead of a 3 and out, this might turn into a Ranch touchdown.
And there's Rick Cash on the field, also livid. He's the man of the people. He's mad along with the fans. He is a fan, and he's fired up.
Well, you know, after this season, there's just been a lot of frustration, a 1-7 start, and after those 2 penalties, he's got to be more than livid. As Gurul powers his way up.
And that'll be a touchdown. You can see, we've talked about it all game up to this point. These power runs, they just add on. The more you fight for each yard, the more the defense will begin to give up. They think, all right, we have him wrapped up. This is a down. We're going to hold him to however many yards. But when he just keeps low to the ground and just keeps on scrounging for every yard, he can just break free, as he did right there. And now the point after will be attempted with 6 on the board for the Falcons.
And after the field goal was missed, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Ranch kicker as he will get it through. But going back to that touchdown play, it looked like there's just a loss of morale. The defense was just kind of standing there. They didn't really know what they were doing, and that allowed for Gurul to just easily run his way up the middle and trip his way into the end zone. And now a 7-0 lead could be the difference for Highlands Ranch, as those penalties put a lot of momentum in the hands of the boys in black.
I like that, the boys in black. Look forward to me be using that. Spectators of this game, hello. If you hear me say boys in black, you'll know. You'll know.
And of course, fun fact for you, Jake Rubley, the Highlands Ranch quarterback, sure, he goes to Highlands Ranch now, but he actually went to Mountain Ridge Middle School, the feeder for Mountain Vista. He was highly recruited. Mountain Vista was looking forward to having him, and then his dad, who at the time was a coach for Mountain Vista, moved over to Highlands Ranch. Rubley followed him, and, well, he's had a great career so far in varsity and has been highly scouted.
He started as the starting quarterback since his freshman year, and of course he's on the same track as us, as we are sophomores. And I did happen to know him and be friends with him in middle school, and he is a class act if I've ever met one. And here's the kick. Another low chip will be received at the 20, takes it up through the 30, past the 35, up to the, they spot it at the 36.
I don't, just like you, I am a little worried about the spots and how this game is going to be determined, because the referees, not only did they overturn a couple of fourth down calls, but now they give Vista a bad spot here. But a nice squib kick returned by Ethan Ward, just powered his way up the left side. And now they're going to stop it and discuss. These referees are all over the place, as Ranch will call a timeout, actually. Got a little fired up there.
Yeah, these calls, I don't know, because this is a game of inches and yards, I guess. Every yard counts, and when you get cheated off of what looks like 2 yards, whether it's for the Eagles or for the Falcons, it matters a lot, as you can see with these fourth down plays. Like, it just comes down to the inch, and if I'm going to be completely honest, I think both fourth downs were converted, and man, I don't know how to think about it anymore, because that's what, the 5th one that I disagree with personally.
And something my dad told me when he used to ref for Colorado high school games is that these referee crews are scrambled each night. That's not a set crew for the entire year. They randomly get assigned a game individually. These crews are completely different every weekend. That might have something to do with these interesting calls.
It may not be totally indicative. I'm sure it's based on the referee, but you'd love to see some accurate calls to see more accurate football being called. Some accurate calls to see better football. I'll just leave it at that.
And another great defensive front trying to force them up the middle. They're being able to stop the edges with their secondary playing up front, and then the big size up front for both sides. The running game has been stopped. The passing game has been stopped. It's going to be a low-scoring one, and we'll see if Mountain Vista can get any points for halftime.
And how disappointing it is to see the student section of the Highlands Ranch Falcons, as that ball is just overthrown by about 2 yards, so close to a big gain. But as I was saying, it's so disappointing to see the fan base, or not the fan base, the student section of the Highlands Ranch High School Falcons using the same cheers as Mountain Vista Golden Eagles student section.
Yeah, great turnout for Mountain Vista. Green out tonight for the recently deceased Wish kid Marley. That was her favorite color. That was how they celebrated their Wish Week, and thoughts and prayers with the family, and
yes, of course,
obviously the entire school rallying around her this week.
Yes, I know Marley's still with us, and we're still with Marley, and that just warms my heart.
And another incompletion by Lancaster, another 3 and out, and Barrett will punt it away again. And one of the themes for Mountain Vista this season is, other than the homecoming game against Legacy, they have, in 6 of their 8 games, failed to score in the first half.
And that's a great punt, actually. And another Mountain Vista, he decides to return it. He does break the first tackle, but he is called down by contact.
And it looks like they actually said his foot was out of bounds. He was not down.
I was going to say, what a great broken tackle. It's just, it's just a shame that he was called out. I mean, of course, they have a better vantage point than I do. But what could have been a big gain for the Highlands Ranch Falcons turns into a successful punt for Jacob Barrett.
Fans, we thank you for tuning into VistaNow throughout the fall sports season. And don't forget, soccer and volleyball are awaiting playoffs soon, and you can catch all of the early round action right here on VistaNow. A nice handoff by Rubley to Dylan Garul for a couple of yards up the gut.
We are within the 9-minute mark in the second quarter as the Falcons lead 7-0, and they have the ball 2nd and 8 on the 13-yard line. Let's see what they can do. And that looks to be good enough for a first down, a pickup of 9 it looks like. A solid pass, a solid route. That's some clean football right there.
Yeah, that was a nice gain. Low snap, recovered by Rubley, able to get it to his slot guy, Jade Arroyo, and another way to move the chains, and it's just getting those few yards every play. That's how you win football games. That's how you run a successful offense, and that's how you become a great quarterback.
Rubley takes the snap, shotgun formation, looks to throw, sends it. Oh, and it is incompleted. What was a breadbasket catch that could have led to another Falcons first down was dropped, and we now look at a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that was the running back, Gerald Trahan. They tried to get him on a quick screen route, not able to haul that one in. And
little quick slant as he ran over center in between the hashes, just could not complete. And there is a flag on the field, and the Falcons are moving back, and it looks to be in Mountain Vista's favor.
All these penalties have had quite lengthy discussions by the referees. It's been interesting. We'll see what the call is.
And it looks to be a holding on the Falcons.
Yeah, they're going to get it on Ryan Rule, one of their bigger senior offensive linemen. Just got a little bit too much hands on the jersey, and they'll push the boys in black back a little.
The boys in black. The boys in black back. Rubley, almost is taken down in the end zone.
And is able to get a positive gain.
The ball will be marked at the 10-yard line. And just the scrounginess, what could have ended up as a safety and points on the board and the ball in the Eagles' hands, turns into a little gain, still a 2nd and 23. I don't know what they'll do with it, but they'll try to get something going.
15 years from now, the term dual threat quarterback will not exist because every quarterback will be taught to do what Jacob Rubley just did there, is be able to scramble out of the pocket and avoid being sacked and try to get some positive yards. That's a nice pass there.
And it looks like just some hesitation from the safety and from the cornerbacks on who's going to take that down. And that turns this into a 3rd down and manageable, as what was a 2nd and 23 appears to be a 3rd and 5.
Yeah, a nice route there run by Connor Lathrop, the wide receiver, and able to turn up and get some few yards as the secondary seemed all over the place as they have all of the first half, as it's really been the front 7 doing everything for the defense, and if Rubley can get it out of his hands, it's been trouble.
Yep, and this Falcon receiving corps can always count on Jake Rubley to give a pinpoint pass. And another pitch, somebody's all over it, yet it is still good for a first down, and he's still on his horse.
That was a great read by Mountain Vista. They saw that one all the way, but Rubley, another great play there, able to just tump that one off and get a nice pitch, and turns a broken tackle into a gain of many yards.
He held on to it for as long as he could,
30 yards.
Drawing in the one defender so he could have a late pitch, which gives him the opportunity for even more yardage and a bit of a draw on the Golden Eagle defense, which turns into plays like that, just that little hesitation on the pitch. As long as he holds it, and the more the defense shifts towards him, a bigger gap is formed. And Rubley takes another shotgun snap, number 15 in motion, just a little tap to him. We'll see a big block, and that makes this good for 10 yards and another first down.
Yeah, that was a nice play there by Connor Lathrop. Has the nice size, able to just get around the defenders, and blocking up front allowed him to get up the left hash.
It looks like it may be labeled as a 2nd and inches.
It does appear like it did appear to me as if though he was a yard or two short.
Yeah,
so
that's a call I agree with. It will be.
And it looks like the refs are just going to keep it back whenever it's close.
Yep, a 2nd and short yet again. And a little button is thrown too high, too fast, and cannot be hauled in. You see big pressure on Rubley right there. Even though a simple pass, the rush seemed to be powerful, and that's what it turns into. And now it's a 3rd and 1. You see Rubley goes back for the play call if they're going to run or pass, whether to expect the rush or a drop back.
Yeah, and that was just a nice play by Rubley. They tried to fake that motion toss again, and they had the guy perfectly up front, but it looked like Lance Opp just kind of went through his hands. And as a wide receiver, if you want to make it, you got to be able to haul that pass in every time.
Well, I was watching the receiver the whole time. I don't want to discredit him too much. It was a very hard pass, and you see Rubley might sneak it. He also is in the I formation, so a lot of options. Given to the running back, and he breaks free for what should be a gain of 2 or 3, turns into a gap, which makes it a gain of 10 more.
That was a nice power run, and as soon as you get up the line, nothing but green grass in front of you, you can just run. That was Tyler Dobbs. Mainly plays linebacker, but they'll have him come in as a smaller power back occasionally, and that was just old school football right there.
Yeah, you can see just powers through. Because this offensive line is so big and can create holes like that, they go for the same play call, but Mountain Vista expects it and holds it to a gain of about a half a yard.
And there's that front 7 who's been playing well most of the night, except for that a couple of big run plays. Just able to clog up the middle. And
I look forward to I always look forward to seeing the red zone defense for the Golden Eagles, because in the past several games that I've seen, I haven't seen terrible red zone defense, and I think that's a good takeaway for us for these coming seasons, is to stick with this game plan, and the more they adapt to our game plan, the more we adapt with that.
Yeah, they force the teams to attack deep. Even Valor has been stopped a little bit on the Vista red zone defense, so that's on the for you.
Goes for the pass. What a pass it was, and that is good for yet another Falcons touchdown. Another beautiful route, beautiful pass. Even under pressure, Jake Rubley makes the post pass for about a 25-yard touchdown. How beautiful that was to see. I got to put credit where credit is due. It's why Rubley's being looked at so much, and it's really showcased beautifully right there, as you can see with that touchdown.
There's the extra point coming, and they're gonna spread out and go for 2. This is an interesting call.
I can't say I've ever seen a spread quite like this, and he will have enough to be in for the 2-point conversion. Just a little short dive in there. Interesting spread on both sides, just a little cluster. You can see a lot of blocking up front, and that's honestly a smart 2-point conversion play. And there is a Mountain Vista special teams player who is down and now gimping off the field. We hope he's okay.
Yeah, but going back to that touchdown play, Jacob Ruley, a great read. He was able to read the pressure up front, get away, look through his progressions, and find Connor Lathrop. Perfect pinpoint pass to the end zone. And then on that extra point, just a great trick play.
Yep.
Spread the guys in the middle and then spread them out on the spread offense. Able to get a quick ditch out to his receiver, find a hole, and just fall in the end zone. Easy 2-point play, and now it's a 15-0 lead here in the second quarter.
And you can see that that little spread. If you have blockers up and you have one-on-one matchups, I think it's a lot smarter to go for that little cluster where you can just dive in rather than going for a head-on play with the whole defensive line having chances to block 2 players or block a little gap in between. I think spreading things out was a genius idea. A little chip kick is touched by Mountain Vista and received by the Falcons. I can't imagine what was going through his head when he decided to touch that. That's the exact play design they were looking for with a big spin kick like that. As short as it was, he was looking to pick it up and possibly take it for a gain. I know the adrenaline is rushing, but you gotta stay true to your better judgment, and that's just showcase of.
Well, I think he had no other choice than to touch that ball because it went 10 yards. It was similar to an onside kick, and if he didn't touch it, Highlands Ranch could easily recover and have this situation.
I don't think it was the proper context, seeing as it was 5 feet over his head and there was people behind him, and then there was a mad scramble. Just a good kick. I mean, there's little you can do about that. It's you can't really expect it. A deep shot, too far. He threw it. Rubley threw it into double coverage.
Yeah, he tried to run through his regressions. Thought he had a gap there for what looked like Allison on the left side, but Sam Chris able to get the lockdown coverage, force the overthrow and the incompletion, and it is now a 2nd down. All the momentum on the side of Highlands Ranch. Can Vista defense get some of that back and try to get some points before the end of the first half with under 5 minutes to go.
And there's a run up the middle. You can see that every single run, much like in the NFL, they're just looking for this little gain, and what should be a little gain can turn into 5+ yard plays. And as they set up for 3rd and 7, the Golden Eagles look to not add on more points against them.
One of the advantages for Rubley is that they have really quieted the Vista crowd. Not a whole lot of noise in his ears.
And we still stay on our feet as Rubley takes this one. Still on his feet. He might go. No, he decides to dip. He tries to cut back in. Ends up seeing the trail of white chasing after him. And he decides to just go out at the 10-yard line. You can see, I mean, the perfect example of him is like a hybrid of Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton. You can see his ability to run, his ability to pass. It's all pinpoint. It's all textbook. And he has his own little personal touch on it. And it's so rare to see in high school football. And it's why he's being scouted on the D1 national scale.
Runs like that you're going to see from him 5 years from now on ESPN.
A bold call. I would not be surprised to see it. And there it is again. Another touchdown for the Falcons. A great route. You can see just a little button for 10 yards. Good enough for 6. And I can't stress this enough. To see it in person, how pinpoint these passes are, and how you're not seeing it from any other quarterback in Colorado high schools. It's so impressive to see these NFL-esque passes and how that one's right on the money, on the perfect time. The ball was out of his hand before the receiver had even looked back. And
they're running the fake again.
Same lineup. They're seeing. We're going to see the adaptation and that the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles are capable of, and you can see they're just toying with them at this point as they look to make this a 22-0 lead. And the kick is good.
Going back to that touchdown play, though, is now it's 22-0 Highlands Ranch. Jake Rubley just able to roll to the right, find his man, just absolutely thread the needle past the defender, and the size of Connor Lathrop able to haul him in. Jake Rubley, the only guy better in the state of Colorado at quarterback, is the Valor senior Luke McCaffrey, son of Ed McCaffrey, brother of Christian McCaffrey, who's got a full ride to the University of Nebraska to be a Cornhusker under Coach Scott Frost. It's going to be interesting to see how this guy's college career progresses after he gets through the next few years of high school. And
it's going to be a treat calling these games. I'm going to try to stake them out for myself, because it's one thing to call it in the student section, but I think it's better to be up here in the press box, even if we're on the roof, which maybe isn't the greatest conditions, but we'll tough through it. But I think it's better if I can relay as much as I know. Hopefully I'm being a help and not too annoying, to showcase like what these scouts see in Jake Rubley.
Highlands Ranch student section is going nuts with this
That'll be a
three-score lead.
touchback.
Yes. And now, with all the momentum in Highlands Ranch's hands, we'll see what Coach Cash draws up here for his quarterback, Campbell Lancaster, who has not been able to match the performance of his counterpart tonight, but again, miracles can happen.
At this point, they just want to put points on the board. It's as simple as that. You just got to get these little plays, keep the first downs moving, just matriculate. Because I think if you can take one touchdown into the third quarter and the ball is dropped, I don't know if he was down. They're calling it Highlands Ranch football. And what a terrible, terrible sequence of events for the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles. Almost like watching the Bad News Bears football style, as you see 3 straight turnovers, just putting the ball in Jake Rubley's hand, all within the 40-yard line in Mountain Vista territory. And it's just tragic to see, because you know that Jake Rubley is going to capitalize, and you know I'm going to respect watching it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it looks like last night's Thursday night football game in the NFL, as they just tried to dump it off to Matt Smith, got a nice hit. He just drops the ball there, and Highlands Ranch able to capitalize, and now we get to see the future great.
The look in the student section as some of them start to sit down, and the look on the Mountain Vista bench is just that of pure frustration. And another deep shot, looked like a good pass, just a couple yards too long. He did, number 4, have number 17 beat. Bryce can get me the names on those.
Yeah, it looked like Kayvon McGee, the intended wide receiver, just was running the route, and it looked like it was beat by the defender. And just great lockdown coverage by Mountain Vista, as Rubley, he had that route ran, had the receiver hit
Available,
perfectly,
yeah.
Just a little overthrown, and great shutdown D by Mountain Vista. They needed a little bit of that a couple drives ago, but better late than never.
Yeah, we'll see. We just don't want any more damage done.
As there is the dual threat ability of Rubley again, getting a solid gain of...
Yep, going from 15 yards back, turning it into a second and 6?
Second and 7. They're only going to give him 3.
That's something I agree with. I mean, it was either a 3-yard or a 4-yard gain, and I don't think that's too big of a deal. But you see Rubley just occasionally goes back to the coaches to see what he's going to cook up for these next couple plays, but it's really fast-paced. It's really just something trying to keep the Golden Eagle defense on their toes, and you can see a little shift. We'll see who it goes against. It'll be a false start on the Falcons. Bring it back 5 yards, and we'll have a 2nd and 12 now. That was in favor of the Golden Eagles, but there's been plenty not in favor. It's really been a back and forth with kind of sloppy play. You just want to see clean football, and that's really not been the case so far. But on this Falcons offensive end, it really has been the case. Just clean offensive plays, good passes, good route runs. And he scrambles, takes a shot, just a tad bit too high.
That was a great play by Rubley. He had about 3 guys wanting to take his face off there, and able to scramble out, stay behind the line so it wasn't an illegal forward pass, and try to hit his man. Just overthrew him a little bit, got a little antsy there. And now it's going to be a 4th down field goal attempt.
This would be a bit longer of a field goal.
It's going to be a nice 41 yards distance.
If you see the kicker go back, line up his shot. And that is good. What a nice kick.
A nice play there. Little guy with the big foot, just enough oomph to get that one through the uprights and above the crossbar.
Yep, looked just about at the max distance of his field goal ability, unless it just wasn't his most powerful kick. But you got to respect the accuracy and the power. I mean, from 41 yards out, that's a difficult kick.
Yeah, you don't see many of those at the high school level.
Yeah, for sure.
And now it's a 25-0 game. That's not really a typical football score.
No, definitely not.
Highlands Ranch and the boys in black are loving it.
The boys in black. That one 2-point conversion, I mean, it really just offsets the score, and you see that even if the Golden Eagles can score 3 touchdowns and a field goal, they'd still be 1 point shy, which is what makes the 2-point conversion such a big deal, because it can turn a regular field goal attempt into the necessity for a 2-point attempt.
Well, you look back at that 2-point conversion. Not only that, it forced the bad kick to turn into the fumble. Ranch gets another touchdown. Then there was the big fumble by Matt Smith on the first play of the drive. Ranch has scored 10 points, 17 points actually, within the last minute 15 seconds.
And that is really not what you want to hear.
Scratch that, it's actually 18 points in the last minute 15 seconds.
Oh dear. With 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. And you can see the difference in play styles really coming through for the Highlands Ranch offense. And that ball is just straight up dropped by number 11. I believe that is Jacob Barrett.
That is Jacob Barrett. That one you got to haul in all day. That was perfectly passed by Campbell Lancaster.
Yep, that was
and that play really sums up the first half performance by Mountain Vista. Just sloppy, and
it was right where it needed to be. He just couldn't come through with it. I don't know. I mean, typically with passes like that are dropped, it's just a case of he's looking to do too much with it, and he takes his eye off the ball before he has it hauled in for sure. This little game will be good for about 3.5, maybe marked as a 3rd and 6. But yes, this overall sloppy offense hasn't been able to come off with any points, and with 3 minutes and 20 seconds and getting the ball at the start of the 3rd quarter, you really just want to get some points on the board so you can take this momentum into the 3rd quarter. Another little dump off, breaks the first tackle and the second. Oh, what a good scrappy play. You can see there's a reaction from the Mountain Vista fan base, something that they haven't really been able to do. And, you know, one thing leads to another. We've been pinned at the 20 literally every possession, and to just get one first down, I think can lead to more good things.
There's still plenty of time. There's more than 3 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. Highlands Ranch just got all those scores within a minute, which, while they did get all those points, it hurts them that they did it in such a little amount of time. Plenty of time for Lancaster to draw up something here in the first half, as he's able to dump that one off.
And there's a completed pass. These simple little catches that are good for that one about 7 yards, possibly 8, based on the placement. But it's just one thing leads to another. You see one big play. These receivers, they're like, all right, he can make one, I can make one. Let's step up. Let's get some points right now.
They're just driving the ball little by little. Couldn't ask for much more.
Number 15 gets through. Lancaster avoids, is almost intercepted.
That was a big-time play by the Ranch defense. Connor Lathrop, who we've seen make some big plays on the receiving end for Highlands Ranch, just got right up the middle, right in Lancaster's face, forced him to throw without really any vision, and Allison, number 1 on the defense, almost got that big pick, just went right through his hands, and, well, I guess that's why he's playing defense.
A possible shot fired. But no harm, no foul. It is a 3rd and 3. You can see 7 in the box. Another 3-man cluster, and that pass is completed. Another good pass, a tad behind him, but still completed and good for what looks to be about 15 to 20 yards.
Yeah, nice back shoulder pass there to Cameron Williams. He's been their
Exactly.
#1 wide receiver all season long. Lancaster and Williams, the connection between them has been fantastic, and just able to pick up the yards, move the chains. That's all you can ask for with this score and this time.
And now the ball's at the 44. You can see this matriculation that I was talking about earlier. When one completion is a good little scramble.
Jacob Rubley-esque.
Yeah, taking a little bit out of Rubley's book, and it's good for 7. And just these pickups, I'm telling you, one leads to another. You see that first completion for a first down, and then there's another, and then there's another, and then there's another gain.
Yeah, that no-huddle 2-minute offense, Highlands Ranch defense, they can tell they're a little off guard, and they want to keep this shutout going, so they're going to call the timeout, kind of freeze the offense a little bit and get their defense back in position. But great start to this drive. Lancaster playing mature. He doesn't care about the score. He knows that he's just got to make his plays, and Vista has a chance.
Yep, it's a 0-0 ball game in his mindset right now, and he just wants to take the lead. He just wants to get one chunk of it down. He's down 7 right now. He wants to tie it up, and then he's down another 7. He's got to tie it up. He's got to play his own mental game right now, and that game shouldn't be focusing on the grand scheme of things. It should be focusing on play by play, drive by drive, score by score.
Second down and 4 from the 38, 2-minute offense. If Lancaster can get a touchdown with little time left, don't give Rubley enough time to take it down the field and erase that touchdown. Just wind the clock, get the plays necessary, and Mountain Vista can try to bring some momentum to halftime. And
18's in motion. He goes for a deep pass. Oh, what a catch! I cannot believe what I just saw.
And I don't think he can either. Cameron Williams, just tight coverage, able to get on top of the cornerback. And
the definition of moss. What a beautiful catch. A great throw, too. You see, not overthrown whatsoever. Put in really the only spot that could have possibly been caught. And the cornerback was just caught lacking, in my opinion.
As they say on Monday Night Football, cornerback Jesse Lopez, you just got mossed.
He did just get mossed. That's one for the highlight reels.
Sports Center Top 10, here we come.
Batted up. Nobody comes down with it. No harm, no foul. And it will remain a 1st and 10. Ball on the Falcons 12. Mountain Vista just looking to get points on the board right now. As I said earlier, Lancaster just needs to play his own mental game, focusing on just this one pass, this one drop back that could turn into a couple yards. It's just play by play. That's all that matters. Goes for a quick pass, and it is dropped. What could have turned into a little touchdown now makes it a 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, that was an ugly drop there by the slot man. And now it's a 3rd and 10. The momentum seems to be slipping a little bit from that big catch.
And you really can't settle for 3 right here. You gotta go big. You really have no choice. And another timeout taken by the Falcons, almost as if they were icing out Lancaster, maybe have him get in his own head. It's really a mental game, and you can see the maturity in quarterbacks based on how they play situations like this.
We've seen a couple notable drops by number 18. Not listed on our roster, so not sure how much playing time he regularly gets. I haven't seen him play much the early parts of the season. But obviously this is a crucial 3rd and 10. Highlands Ranch now out of timeouts, so they don't have anything to back Rubley if they want to try to get a quick score at the end of the 1st half. But Mountain Vista, they need to get 7 here. They cannot settle for a field goal.
Exactly. It
is still a 4, they will cut it to a 3-score game if they get the field goal, but that touchdown would be huge.
Yeah, it's all about the momentum, and with a minute 30, and if they could lock down Rubley as the half comes to a close, they get the ball right back, and then 7 turns into 14, and then it's a different ball game. Lancaster looks to scramble, doesn't get enough, good for about 5 yards. Should make it a more doable field goal, but
wouldn't be surprised. Nobody's coming off the field. I think they're going to go for it here. A 4th and 4 from the 6.
You can see Lancaster looking for Coach Cash's deliberation, and nobody's going anywhere at the moment.
And Highlands Ranch has no timeouts to try to fix their defense. So this is an interesting play call, whether they're just trying to get the defense off guard or they're going to actually strike for the end zone.
And the clock is just running down. They might be playing a clock game, giving Rubley as little time as possible to make it an even bigger deficit. And now they take their timeout with 40 seconds on the clock. They did eat up as much as possible. Either the kicking unit is coming out or they're getting their thoughts straight for this 4th down attempt.
And they're huddling up. I think this is going to be an end zone strike, but what they did there was try to eliminate as much clock as possible so they can't have the superstar on the other side, Jacob Rubley, take it all the way to the house and erase the possible score if they get one here on 4th down.
Now, the Falcons do not have any more timeouts, so I would doubt the fact that they go down and get points on the board, but I may underestimate him. I don't know what he can do with 30 seconds and no timeouts quite yet, but I don't think it will come to that point. Actually, it may. It may.
There's still plenty of time left, and, well, Highlands Ranch got 18 points in just over a minute, so anything is possible.
That's true, and here's a real go big or go home situation. You either leave the quarter with 0 or go out as a hero with 6 on the board.
And another timeout by Vista, a little more confusion, and it looks like Coach Cash is going to be a little upset with the offensive formation, having to use 2 timeouts on the same play, and eventually we'll get this 4th down and 4.
I think it's safe to say that they are going for it. That is a sure thing. And I'm eager to see the play call, whether it'll be a little button route for 6 or maybe a protected run or screen pass, just enough to get the 1st down. You see, it is only 4 yards to go, so maybe going for a touchdown here isn't the play.
And here comes the play. Spread offense here for Lancaster.
You can see they're all on this even plane. One running back in the draw position. The bottom of the field looks pretty open. He's going into the protected part. Almost a fantastic catch, but it is incomplete with no flags on the play. And Rubley will take over from his own 6 with 35 seconds on the clock. I wouldn't be surprised to see a kneel, because you can never risk a fumble or a bad snap or an interception that may turn into a touchdown for the Eagles.
Yeah, but on that play call, I'm a little surprised there was no pass interference. It looked like a perfect pass by Lancaster, and the fact the receiver had to reach with one arm around the cornerback to make that play, normally that's an instant flag drawer, but Highlands Ranch gets the call, and they're just going to kneel the 1st half out.
As expected, you just got to play it safe, especially with a 25-point lead. You don't really have to prove anything at this point. And as the half comes to a close, we will leave you with our halftime presentations from Highlands Ranch High School.
That is 7 out of 9 games now for Mountain Vista, in which they have failed to score in the 1st half.
And that's just something that it's honestly kind of ridiculous. If you can't matriculate and get 3, there's something that you need to do that you aren't doing, but you can obviously do. I think just going down, playing it score by score, even if that's a field goal, I think is all you need to do. All right, we will be back to you for the 3rd quarter. It is 25-0. Highlands Ranch. And that's all. We'll catch you guys in about 15 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Highlands Ranch High School varsity Palms team. That's your Highlands Ranch High School varsity Palms team. Nice job, ladies. Next up, we've got your Highlands Ranch Regiment Marching Band. Mountain Vista to receive.
We do apologize for getting here 10 seconds late. Our broadcast did have a bit of a hiccup, but master producer Blaze Shower got it up just in the nick of time. You didn't miss anything, guys. We just received the kickoff, took it up to the 23, it looks like, and that's it. Let's do a quick recap of the second half. Honestly, kind of sloppy offense from the Mountain Vista side. You see in that last drive, though, some big plays. We did get into the red zone. No points to come out of it. But I like the decision going for it on fourth down. It was really an all or nothing. And we started off on the right foot. A great pass on a great route by Campbell Lancaster.
Yeah, what a great read there by Lancaster, flying Wyatt Evans over the middle. Just a nice diving catch, and they need some quick strikes. They're down 25 going into halftime. Again, 7 out of 9 games in which they have not scored in the first half, and down 25. It's going to take a miracle for them to come back, but we've seen it happen before.
And as I said earlier, it's just score by score, play by play. You just got to break it down. Oh, big run. Nice, powerful. You can see we're out here. We look fresh. I like it. Even if it's just 2 little plays, we're looking confident, and that's what I like to see. Because when you come out in the second half and you're looking defeated, I think it's not going to get any better from there. But if you come out with a fire and confidence, I think that'll really show, and it has in these 3 plays. That's 2 first downs in 3 plays, and
yeah, Matt Smith, a nice chug up the middle, just getting the yardage gain. And a couple years ago, there was an NFL team named the New England Patriots who came back from 25 in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying this is anything like the Patriots, but it's happened before, and it could happen again.
And I think we have the tools necessary. It's all about just playing the little game. And look at this. These games, we have not had a rush or a pass, for that matter, to this point that has been less than 5 yards. We're really doing what we need to do. Oh, yeah. We hope that we have not cursed it. Don't worry, we have already knocked on wood. We take the precautions here in the press box. Do not fret, I promise.
But there have just been some nice plays here as a new first down.
Another rush, and it's good for about 3.5. You know, these little yards, just play by play, just getting positive gains, it really turns into something tangible. And you can see we've already pushed from the 23, and here we are on the Falcons 45, or 35. I apologize. Lancaster looks to pass, sends a ball. Oh, it is hauled down. I mean, it tricked me visually. I see one receiver going up for it, and that receiver's in double coverage, and I'm thinking...
Well, he was definitely Julio Martinez-Marquez, number 7, was the intended receiver, and Wyatt Evans he's made a couple of nice plays on this drive, but a nice catch there to save it and get a first down, and, well, Mountain Vista's clicking early.
Yep, staying focused on the ball, and yet another big gain, and here's another solid rush. That one good for what looks to be 6 or 7 yards.
Yeah, nice run there by Matt Smith, just chugging out the middle, and every little chunk you can get toward the end zone, and this will give the momentum to the defense, and, you know, things can happen.
Let's see what Lancaster does with it. A little draw.
Ranch was ready for that one.
Yep, good for about 2 yards still. It will be a 3rd down and 2. A 3rd down and 3, 2.5.
This is the biggest 3rd down of the second half, and it's been quite a drive. Don't want it to end like this, and Ranch was ready for that run play.
Yeah, I think going back-to-back rushes might not have been the move. Even on a 3rd down and short, going for end zone with only 10 yards to go, I think isn't the worst decision. And yet another fourth down attempt in the red zone within the 15. They did lose yards, and it will be a 4th and 6. They just need to get past the 8-yard line.
Yeah, Tyler Dobbs had to stop. And
They're almost 3 yards out of it. Nothing, honestly. And now watches the film. He picks up a scouting turn pass. He's wide open. Yet another little hiccup. They tend to happen. As I said earlier, there are 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and barfs. Broadcasts always randomly fail. They do. It's just a way of life. It's happened, and it just happened for the 2nd time in about a 2-minute span. But what you missed, Jake Rubley took a shot downfield on a 3rd and 16. It was incomplete, just overshot, even though the receiver was open. And now it looks like the punting unit will take the field.
yeah, they'll decline a penalty and they'll punt the ball away. But great defense there from Mountain Vista. They're going to need that defense to hold Highlands Ranch at 25 if they want any chance of coming back in this one with 6.5 to go in the 3rd quarter.
The punt may have been tipped, and Fair caught at
Looks like he caught it on his knee.
47. I mean, as long as you come down with the ball,
that's a plus.
Yeah, and you retain possession, it's fine in my book.
You can definitely hear some of the Eagles crowd on our crowd mic getting a little impatient. As motion for Martinez Marquez.
Somebody random just went on the mic. A scary moment. Speaking of scary moments, receiver tipped the ball up. It split the 2 defenders. Highlands Ranch did not come down with the ball. It will be a 2nd down and 10 with the ball on the 47.
That is the 4th dropped pass for number 18, who we do not have on the roster. So probably a new JV player, freshly called up for this this big moment. As here's a big-time 2nd and 10.
A lot of wind today. He bounces off the first offensive lineman, takes it for an extra 4. We're looking at a 3rd down and manageable, possibly a 3rd down and 3.
No
Might
huddle.
be marked as a 3rd down and 4,
They'll
somewhere
mark it
in the
as
middle.
a 3rd and 3. Nice choke up the middle for Matt Smith, and they're going to go no huddle, try to catch the Highlands Ranch defense off guard like they did in the 2nd quarter, just unsuccessful in the red zone. But they're going to drive, and we apologize for the wind we're catching on the mics. We are calling this game up on the roof of the press box tonight. As there's a nice run.
Yes, beautiful power straight up the center. It's honestly a big game. That was 10 yards plus. We moved the chains. We've seen this the past 3 drives. Just a lot of power from our running backs all up until the red zone. And that's when I think the play calling gets a bit iffy, when we just default to the run. I mean, if you shouldn't fix what isn't broke, but I think it's also a very valuable asset to be able to throw with confidence in the red zone. And I think that is what will give you the most tangible results.
And, of course, an unsuccessful play there, resulting in a 2nd down and 9. Haven't seen a whole lot of trips plays from this offense. They've really spread the ball, spread the receivers out pretty much all night long. Ranch has done the same thing other than their opening drive. There's a nice toss to Martinez Marquez.
Little toss for 5 yards, 4 yards possibly. A possible 3rd down and 5 situation.
And this is going to be a big play call here for Coach Rick Cash, as he wants to get back in this game, but you have to get the 1st down here. If you don't, this game is all but out of reach.
Yep, 3rd down and 5, and they're going to have to start taking these shots. They really have no other choice.
They
Still
will not
down
do
25.
that, and that's a nice run.
Yeah, yet another big gain. Gets drilled from the back, but I mean, these little inside rushes seem to be immune from defense so far, and in the second quarter.
Matt Smith has been clutch on this drive, number 20. Keep watching him in the second half, see how they play him as Lancaster goes no huddle.
Second half, I apologize. Yes, a little quick no huddle. Doesn't look to be good for too big of a gain, but it does appear that they're inside the 5-yard line for the first time in a very long time in my analysis there. But the Golden Eagles look to capitalize. They've been in the red zone the last 3 drives. Still 0 points on the board. I wouldn't be surprised if this does come down to a 4th down situation.
And there's going to be a timeout.
But as I was saying, I would not be surprised if this comes down to a 4th down situation if they kick a field goal. They need something on the board. I think just getting a little some kind of momentum, a little something that you can see. It's a 3-possession game. This is doable. And we've done it before.
Definitely so. And Matt Smith, only 5'11", 185, just able to drive up the middle. Highlands Ranch didn't see really any of him in the first half, and his ability to make plays here on this drive in particular here in the second half has kept Mountain Vista alive, and if he can get them in the red zone here on this big 2nd and goal from the 5.
This wind's a doozy. It's just getting more and more powerful, as you can hear in my mic. I do apologize. I have to cover it with my hoodie sleeve. It is not the best situation, and that little end around is good for nothing. And we do see yet another 3rd down situation in these red zone drives. And again, it's just run, and there seems to be no confidence in the pass game, even though we do have these receivers setting up for possible 6-point opportunities.
To add insult to injury, Highlands Ranch doing all the Mountain Vista cheers just so that the Golden Eagle fan base can watch them do it.
I think they kind of go out everywhere.
What a play.
Oh, great play. And there's some points on the board. And there's a good reaction from this fan base. Everybody's super excited. You can see just a little push off because it was within 5 yards. And just a beautiful back shoulder pass, and it's good for 6. And I think that's just what they needed, a little 3rd down clutch, and there's some points. And now it's on the defense to make sure this stays within their reach, because there's 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go. There's still 1 full quarter left. The field goal is good. We got something rolling right here. And I think these Golden Eagles know that. They know that they have a little something on their plate. They just want to keep tacking it on. They want to make it a buffet.
Yeah, that touchdown got our crew so excited. All the Fortnite dances up here, but a nice play there by Cameron Williams, able to run the route, just run the goal line, get a little back shoulder catch, and that is going to be the clutch play Mountain Vista needs to run these next 15 minutes and come back from this game.
Yep,
come back from this deficit.
And the freshman Jack are getting a little antsy up in here, and I don't know if I like it. In fact, I'm going to be outright and saying I don't like it.
And I'm going to be outright and say it apparently was a missed extra point.
Are you serious? I mean, from this angle, it looked perfectly fine.
I guess they said it went a little too right on top of the – it was on top of the goalpost. Goalposts don't go all the way up to the sky, so we can't tell for sure, but I guess they said it was a little too far right, a little too high.
What a shame that is. Hopefully it doesn't kill some momentum on – oh, he's just running backwards, surrounded, running even more backwards. The optimal situation for the Golden Eagles. I mean, rather than fair catch, he just gives them free negative yardage.
And as a coach, that frustrates you so much. You teach your returners to just go north and south, try to pick up yardage. Instead, tried to run a little east and west route, wasn't able to pick up anything, actually lost a couple trying to run away from defenders. And you see that in the NFL too, coaches getting frustrated and, well.
We're not all Tyreek Hill, and I think everybody needs to realize that. Even if you see something 15 yards out where it's green grass, just because you get there doesn't mean it's still going to be green grass. And you know that you have some white jerseys on your tail, and they're out to get you. And there's a big run. Looks good for about 15 yards.
Yeah, they just give it up the middle. They're just charging up front with
really just
their big guys.
Yep, just a quick jab. Just say, yeah, you just scored 6. You missed your field goal. We're going to come right out and get a 15-yard play. Rubley hands it off again. It looks like they're just eating the time. The extra point?
Rubley's hand off to number 28, Lundquist. Good for a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6.
Think Bryce has something to say. I think so. Maybe not now. Maybe a bit later. It might be something along the lines of an apology. And if you stuck with us all this time, you're a trooper, because I'm sure this is some of the lower quality football commentating you've seen. We have a good time, though. I think we get the right point across. We're doing our best here. It's the epitome of VistaNow. This is high school broadcasting. We're still learning as we go. We share what we know. We learn from each experience. Good for about 1 yard, and this will be a 4th down and 5 as the punting unit takes the field.
Nice stop there up front by Mountain Vista on a 3rd down after Jake Rubley, who's had some great 3rd down plays, not able to, they just tried to run the ball, not able to get much there, and Highlands Ranch will just punt it away with a comfortable 19-point lead. And a nice punt return there by Mountain Vista Golden Eagles. Fans, there was a mistake made earlier, and we'd like to apologize for it. It was said earlier that the green out tonight for Mountain Vista was in remembrance of the life of Marley. She is in fact still alive, and is just going to...
It's a tough subject. If you're listening to this and you heard it earlier, and I'm sure you did, if you've stuck through this broadcast and you cringed at the fact that we gave you that disinformation, granted, it was not misinformation. On Bryce's aspect, he did not know. We ask for your forgiveness. We hope you can forgive us. That ball is loose. Looks like it's received by Highlands Ranch.
Lancaster handoff to Craven. Fumble on the field.
And that would be the likes of Sam Craven on the fumble. We don't know what the ruling is yet. There is a flag on the field. Again, we would like to get these apologetic ties out of the way. I think we're behind that. And let's just get back to the game. Yes, Bryce apologizes again.
Ranch ball. 1st and 10, Highlands Ranch. On the 20. On the 30.
And it appears on the punt return there was a personal foul, and therefore Highlands Ranch will be back on the field in the red zone with Jake Rubley.
Well, it happened to be a fumble on a handoff to Sam Craven that was recovered by Highlands Ranch, not on the punt return. And the ball back in Rubley's hands, already in the red zone. He looks to do even more damage.
And Coach Cash is awful frustrated, a little bit of confusion, as I think everybody's been a little confused with a couple of these calls by the referees tonight, but Ultimately, Coach Cash will walk back to the sideline, whether he has understanding of the call or not. He does not want to delay any action and potentially be ejected.
And I see on the Vista sideline a player on one knee, possibly injured.
Yeah, it looks like the trainers are looking at him. He's in pain, but we still have football to play. Rubley with the ball.
Ball on the 15, goes up for a pass. Oh, deflected right off of the chest piece. That ball was put exactly where it needed. The route was run correctly. That was honestly a beautiful play design, but they just could not come away with 6. And I think that was the most golden opportunity they could get.
Yeah, it looked like they were going for number 5, Jade Arroyo on that. Or no, it was number 6, Gerald Tanner. And basically just an interesting spin on that pass by Rubley and just overran by the receiver. And now it'll be a 2nd down and 10.
A lot of contact on that possible offensive pass interference.
I believe they're going to call it on the defense here.
I honestly did not see anything. If anything, I saw what looked like that was an interesting play. I saw
Well, it looks like the defense is clapping away. It might be an offensive call here.
Yeah, I did see the boys in black tug on. That was an interesting play. I'll break it down. So, honestly, from our perspective here, it looked like the route runner was Mountain Vista, and it looked like the defender, it was Highlands Ranch. And he ended up on Highlands Ranch tugging on the Mountain Vista defensive back's jersey, making that a bit of an interesting flag to call.
So they call the offensive pass interference on Connor Lathrop. There are some fans right below us that are...
They're really passionate about this game, and they want with all their hearts the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles to win this game.
They will stay here through the cold as Rubley
almost completes a pass. I don't know if you can hear it. It's honestly rather humorous. He's just screaming, Vista, 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 no! As soon as the ball leaves Jake Rubley's fingertips, and you can see the kind of fear that Rubley strikes into his opponents and the fan base's eyes as soon as he throws just a dart to anybody he pleases. He really has that kind of prowess to fear anybody he goes up against.
That is some true passion, as they're going to call a false start, as you could hear on the crowd mic from our fans below. So call it on Ryan Rule, number 66. The wind is picking up. It is.
And it is not getting any warmer.
It is a 3rd down and 30, folks.
We'll see what they can do with it. They might honestly take a shot at the end zone. And that's just what he does. Takes a shot. Almost completed.
Another Sports Center-like play.
Yep, Rubley took a shot. He threw it downfield, had his receiver in the end zone, made a diving attempt, but did not come down with it. You got to respect the effort. You got to respect a pretty accurate pass for being on the run, the opposite direction. That a cross-body diving throw, essentially, for 40 yards is something not every quarterback can boast that ability.
And what we thought was going to be a disasterly touchdown actually turns into a punt thanks to defense and penalties, as that one's going to land in the end zone for a touchback. And a flag is down. Our fans downstairs saw that all the way.
You can see how, we have the visuals of these Mountain Vista fans, and they are getting very passionate about this. They are the only ones really engaging, it seems like. Everybody's just spectating. They're the ones clapping. They're the ones making noise, kind of getting their boys going. And I think even if they can only hear them faintly, if at all, it's that Golden Eagle spirit that resonates within all these players.
And now
There's a personal foul on what I think to have heard number 15 of Highlands Ranch, and that will move the chains already an extra 15 yards from the 20, and now you have a 1st and 10, and let's see what Campbell Lancaster can do with it. He had some great plays. Rick Cash had some great play designs through little inside runs, possible pitches, and screen passes. You can see number 20 as a screen. He has to scramble, hopes to get at least a positive gain. It was either incomplete. It was completed for about
maybe
half
a
a yard. Yeah, anywhere in between a yard and no gain.
They'll give him about an inch, maybe. It is a chilly game.
Yes, I would also like to attribute the possible mishaps that have happened on this broadcast to the overall chilliness and unfocused nature of this broadcast, seeing as it was kind of hastily put together. We typically here at VistaNow don't plan to broadcast from the roof. We did what we could for the viewers. I hope you appreciate the sacrifice. And I hate to sound like a martyr, I really do.
But it has been an overall great game. We've seen the future great quarterback in Jake Rubley, only a sophomore in high school. Look to see him in the future, and that is tipped and nearly going the other direction.
And I really look forward to seeing what Jake Rubley does with his career. He has so many opportunities already with offers from these Power 5 schools, as Bryce has commented on earlier. And I think it's really something to take note of, that if you remember the name Jake Rubley, like you know the names, you know the last name McCaffrey if you live in Highlands Ranch. You know Christian McCaffrey and Luke McCaffrey are both out of Valor. They both fantastic football players. But Jake Rubley, he's a name to take note of.
Jake Rubley is the guy that nobody's really talking about yet just because of his age. Everybody's focusing on Luke McCaffrey and his future under Scott Frost at Nebraska. And, you know, Jake Rubley, he's got a lot of Power 5 offers under his belt. And to relate, you can look at the Mountain Vista baseball team with all the great Power 5 offers they have, such as, you know, some seniors. Sam Ireland, of course, getting highly recruited. Clay Burke going to the University of Oregon.
Yep, our baseball program is very talented. As far as football goes, Judd Erickson, probably our most talented to come out, and I believe he's the backup on the Colorado University Buffs.
Colorado State Rams.
You know, I'm not one with college football, so if I offend you by this just blatant lack of knowledge in terms of these football players, football coaches, as far as college teams go. But that's why we have Bryce Tracy here on color. He has all the information we could possibly need.
And of course, there's no bigger Vista athlete to come out of Mountain Vista High School than Mallory Pugh. Of course, the part of the World Cup squad that won in 2015 for the U.S. at such a young age.
Yeah, very impressive. Also, Gatorade Athlete of the Year.
National Girls Soccer Player of the Year.
Yep. You may have seen her on some Gatorade ads. I know I have. But another thing to take note of, another Vista athlete happens to be Jenna Fitzsimmons. Also won Gatorade Player of the Athlete of the Year last year in the field of cross country. Yeah. And I remember in middle school running cross country, it taught me two things. Jenna Fitzsimmons is a fantastic runner, and I am not. Let's just say I haven't run competitively again, nor will I.
Yeah, Jenica Simmons, the Gatorade Cross Country State Player of the Year. Great honor.
Jenna Fitzsimmons.
Jenna Fitzsimmons, my bad. Yeah. And, of course, she's only a junior now. She won that award as a sophomore, so a lot of greatness to come there. Our cross-country program, of course, many state titles here at Mountain Vista.
As that first down is committed. You know, we've kind of gone off on a ramble of just great Vista athletes. We got great programs here. And don't forget, you can tune in to all of them see how we're doing, just visit the VistaNow YouTube channel. It all ties back together. You can catch football games, baseball games, volleyball games, anything you could think of that has to do with Vista athletics, academics sometimes. It's all
Tons
there.
of content posted all the time. Make sure you tune in. Catch all the videos after this game on your free time. And don't tune away from this one. There's always a chance, but it's been fun to talk about. And of course, you know, Jake Rubley, almost a Vista football player. His dad, of course, going to coach at Highlands Ranch, so naturally his son follows.
Package deal.
And of course, you know, McCaffrey with his child at Valor, Rubley with his child at Highlands Ranch.
Yep.
Makes perfect sense as there's a nice dump. And now Rubley's just playing the clock game. He's making the passes that he needs to, and
that one, it did go out of bounds, thus stopping the clock. But we are within the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Time is winding down for this Golden Eagle offense, and we really need to step things up and get these chains moving. I know it's difficult against such a high-powered offense and a high-powered defense, but we just got to play our hearts out, and then I think that'll be a great takeaway from this game.
And something to take away as well is whether you go to Mountain Vista or you are an outsider, you're going to want to watch this kid in the next couple of years before he goes to college or some Power 5 program in all likelihood, unless, of course, you know, he's a young kid. He's still got 2 years left here at Highlands Ranch as the quarterback. And get as much as you can in person. It's going to be impressive to see. I know you've seen a lot of him here on television, but this kid is going to be a future star that is going to be talked about across many local sports columns.
Absolutely. And I look forward to see what he has in store for his football career. I know he's a great guy. He'll be looked at from a lot of scouts. And what these scouts also look at, besides this football prowess, is who they are as a person. There's a lot more depth into this system than people realize. And I think that's also the second leg, also academic-wise, what will earn Rubley these top-tier scholarships.
Rubley with a nice dump off for the catch and run by Trahan. Sets up a 2nd and 6. As dumps it off, and he's just making the right passes. He's not trying to overthrow it with this confident lead. He's just trying to make the passes necessary, show off his arm for college scouts, and, well, it's been fun.
If they're watching this game. But
well, they will get the feed of this game from Highlands Ranch. They've got plenty of guys all around the field taking note of this so that he can send to his.
I think there's plenty of Rubley highlights to come out of this game. If you remember that just pinpoint accuracy on that 40-yard touchdown straight to the end zone.
That was impressive. The ability to scramble away from the defenders.
Oh yeah, that 30-yard gain.
Set his feet, not try to overthink it, and hit Connor Lathrop perfect on his route.
Zach. My mom's just gonna get you.
Rubley back in the pocket. He's going to throw it downfield, and it is nearly intercepted. A lot of contact on that play. Not able to hit what appeared to be Lathrop right on the money. You know, it looks like the second team receivers are out, trying to run the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter away, as it's now a chant off in the crowd. Our passionate Vista fan still downstairs. He's not going away anytime soon.
No way, no how.
Rubley back. He's going to escape pressure. And what a sack there. That's Vance Betts on the play. And if there's a defensive highlight for Vista to come out of this game, it is that one right there.
Right there, baby.
Perfect pressure off the edge, able to charge up the middle. Offensive line, once again, we saw it in the first half. They have size, but they don't have a lot of movement ability, and they just got thrown around there. And Rubley, that's the first time he hasn't been able to escape pressure.
The ball will be placed on the 46-yard line, still in Highlands Ranch's possession. They're just looking to wind this clock down. They know they have a powerful 19-point lead. He sends one downfield. There is a flag on the play. I don't know what it will be on.
It's going to be a roughing the passer. You could see Rubley go down hard there. That's going to be a killer for Mountain Vista. That might be the flag that officially knocks Vista's chance of winning this one out, as Rubley's just driving.
Well, it was a 3rd and 19, mind you that. So even if this is a roughing the passer, that would make it a 3rd down and 4?
No, personal fouls are automatically a first
down.
down.
Yeah, that's right. Apologies.
As Rubley will grind forward, he'll probably...
Yep, it was a roughing the passer, which will move the chains. There's one more time. As the Falcons move even further into Mountain Vista territory, overall, I think the defense did what they could. They went into this game knowing that they had a high-powered offense on their hands, and the offense went into this game knowing that they had a high-powered defense on their hands. But it just came down to the little plays, and I think when we just started to matriculate and focus on completing our passes, opening up gaps for our running backs, that's when we really got good yardage. That should be the main takeaway through offense and defense. Just we had pretty good red zone defense. I've never had a problem with that. Very good down the field offense through Campbell Lancaster's quarterback role. Best way I can put it. And that's about it. Otherwise, just cleaning things up. Overall recap as the clock will stay winding down. We'll go inside the 6-minute and 30-second mark.
Of course, of course, we talked a ton about Jake Rubley, but if you do remember in the second quarter, there was a great grab by Cameron Williams. They would go over the helmet of the defender and make a Randy Moss-esque reception that we can guarantee you we're going to clip that up and send that one over to ESPN for their edition of SportsCenter tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely a fantastic highlight out of this game. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that. He just jumped straight over his defender, snagged it in, got both feet in. It would have been a completion in the NFL, as that ball is run and kept in bounds to keep the clock rolling, or was it?
They will call it a catch.
And this wind is just getting more and more
There
incessant.
is a penalty against Highlands Ranch.
That would be what stopped the clock. But this wind is just being more and more incessant, as you can hear on our microphones. I'm sorry. I know it probably wants to make you leave. I wouldn't blame you. Because we can hear our own voices. We can hear this wind. It is it's getting on our nerves as well.
So 3rd down and 17 after the penalty for Rubley's boys in black.
He ends around, gets a pass off. That is complete for a 1st down.
What a play by
Jake
Rubley.
That is just a fantastic play. He scrambled. You can see the excitement on his body language. He's clapping. He's excited because this is almost the garbage time, as we like to call it in the NFL, and it's when you can do more damage and also just really practice, get this really, it's almost like a scrimmage at this point.
Yeah, well, Jake Rubley, a great job there. He's got a lot of pressure up front, able to roll to his right, roll through his progressions and find a man wide open, able to stop himself behind the line, get the pass off, and
a good
set up
tackle.
a first down. And Vista, nice stop there of the running back.
Started up by number 2, finished off by number 48, Caden Strasheim.
And Mountain Vista is going to start using some timeouts to save clock because apparently they still believe there's a chance within a 3-score game.
There's always a chance. You can never give up. It's also like matter of self-pride. You can never admit defeat. You always play till the last second on the clock ticks to 0. All these spectators bundled up in their blankets and heavy jackets. Oh, how I envy them. I did not prepare adequately enough.
Did not expect to be on the roof, and it is a killer.
It is a killer, especially as we know just 3 feet under us. It is wind protected, heated.
Everything you could ask for.
Yep.
Indoors.
I guess I will just stay envious.
For these last 5 minutes. The mercy rule is if the team is up by 35 and it's only a 19-point game, so the clock will continue to stop at moments necessary. There, a nice hit to jar that one out. That looked like number 41 on the stop. That was Chris Perella, who the team has described in our talking with them this afternoon as one of their best players, one of their biggest leaders, and boy, has he been an underrated star for this Vista D.
Mm-hmm.
Rubley back, lets this one
Takes
go.
a shot, he's got the man open, but a rare miss off of Rubley's true arm. Goes wide right, he had his man open, would have been yet another touchdown, but it is incomplete, stopping the clock at 5 minutes and 14 seconds.
And it looks like they're gonna go for the long distance field goal. We've seen this kicker hit a 41-yarder earlier.
Yeah,
Rubley,
very solid kick.
Rubley, that was one of the few errors we've seen from this one, but we'll see now. It looks like this one's going to be 39 yards. So we know it's in his range, but we'll see if he can back it up. It'll actually be a 40 yards exact. Good snap, good hold. And it's blocked again.
What a block.
That is the second block by this Vista
Number
team.
21. You know, it's always exciting to see a brilliant play on special teams or on offense or defense for that matter. And you can see the sideline and the fans. They're still excited about that one. I mean, how couldn't you be? Just a great jump and a great block. Could you get the number 21? I want to know that name.
Number 21, that would have been their better defender on the secondary, Grant Shells, the senior.
Oh, again, you see, that's the second big play he's made. Those are 2 plays for the highlight reel of this game. That one great lockdown defense in the end zone to save a touchdown that first drive of the game, I believe. And now with that blocked field goal, that's pretty big time.
And a nice snag there.
Yeah, Lancaster hits his man. Great pass, great catch. And, I mean, in this garbage time, like I said, it's like a scrimmage. You can go for the plays you wouldn't normally go for. And I think that's when you realize that some of these plays are plays that you need to implement into your regular time offense.
And that was Julio Martinez Marquez on the reception.
Goes for a pass again, and it is also completed. And this is what we started to see towards the end of the second quarter and in through the third and fourth quarter, we haven't seen any problems with Mountain Vista matriculating down the field. It's mostly just woeful red zone play that has contributed to the lack of points on our side of the scoreboard.
If they can continue this success, you might call this the 5 miracle minutes if they can come back.
As we dip in 4 minute and 30 second. He does get out of bounds, thus stopping the clock at 4 minutes and 21 seconds. Oh, clock is still rolling. May not be a rule.
I believe it might be within a certain time period, maybe the last 2 minutes, but I'm not quite sure myself, as they'll keep the clock rolling here on 2nd and 4. He might have been down in bounds and then flew out of bounds.
Yep, they just keep going, and Lancaster keeps slinging it, and that ball is about, there's a flag on the play, but that ball is about 3 yards overthrown. He did, the receiver, the receiver Jacob Barrett did have both defenders beat out. Just a matter of just a tad less power, and then you have an exciting offensive game.
It was a little overshot. We'll see what the penalty is, if they are still discussing, the referee and one of his assistants.
Now, they have not given anybody any idea quite yet. A pass interference on the defense.
That is clutch.
That will move the chains even more. 3 minutes, 55 seconds on the clock. There's a little bit of excitement from the remaining student section and all of the parents and
our friendly fans below.
Yep.
As with 3:55 to go, Lancaster line up at the 35.
Now in Falcon territory, we'll see what Lancaster can do, and I know for a fact that he can do a lot of good. All plays have seemed to be passes. That ball, I do not blame 18 for backing out of that. It did not seem like a catchable pass, and also he was about to just get sandwiched and blindsided at the same time. And that is something very dangerous that you really hate to see.
And while these last 4 minutes are exciting, you still have to do everything to stay warm up here.
Yep, you got to stay moving. And
all of you fans have the comfort of...
and producer Blaze Shower getting a little jog in over the span of this roof.
All of you fans with the comfort of your warm couch.
Just keep the blood pumping. As a solid game will make this 3rd down and 3, it looks like. And I think this is exactly what Mountain Vista has needed to do throughout this entire ball game, is just keep the ball moving, keep the defense on their toes, and know that you have control over what you're going to do on offense. He is rushed, gets the pass completed, will be good for a 1st down and more. And it looks like the ball will be spotted at the 14-yard line. A solid gain and a good little option to be able to dump it off. Is there a flag on the play? Yeah, there is a flag way in the backfield, and it looks like this whole gain will be brought back completely.
That is unfortunate. They're probably going to get a hold against the offense. They had quite a big hole.
You see the call is approaching. We'll see what they say. Oh, and Mountain Vista is moving back up. A good sign for us. And
here's the call.
And we may. Ooh.
That's an extra half the distance to goal after the carry, so that'll be a big play. Now Mountain Vista 1st and goal, 3:17. Don't tune away, folks.
Still much more excitement to come.
We'll see if they can finally strike some red zone offense. They haven't really been able to thus far into the game, but
this may be the 4th.
Better late than never.
The 4th straight drive that they haven't had a turnover on. 4th straight drive where they actually get the offense going, and there's going to be a touchdown.
What a play.
Beautiful. You see him running all the way up to the sideline, doing that east to west and then north, knowing that he has the option to run diagonally straight into the corner of the end zone for 6.
Yeah, that was a great block up front. Nice bubble screen there by Campbell Lancaster. And
Yep.
plenty of room for Matt Smith to just take that one and run into the end zone with the speed he's had. And, well, you know they have to go for 2 here to make it an 11-point game.
And there's some lovely red zone offense. You know that it's what they've needed all game long. And to know, like, personally within this offense that they can do it, they can produce this offense, and they have these past 4 or 5 drives. I think it'll be really meaningful in their next practices, their next games, and the 2-point conversion
Cameron
is good.
Williams. There's no one better to get in the end zone. Campbell Lancaster's favorite target. Find him right in the end zone for an easy 2-point score.
And now the score is 25-14 Falcons, and you have to expect an onside kick coming.
They have to. There's no way they can win this game without getting that onside kick, the way that Rubley's been able to control the pace.
Within the 3-minute and 15-second mark, you got to still have hope. And this is still a 2-possession game, and it's either another touchdown with a 2-point and then a field goal, or 2 touchdowns for the win. And only time will tell if this onside is good, if this offense can clutch. And obviously it's all dependent on this kick. Other than that, the ball will most likely just be run down, and the clock will just keep on ticking.
The most clutch kick of the game, the most clutch kick of his high school career here for Ethan Love.
And here it comes. You can see 6 on the left side and 4 on the right. As expected on the left side. And
did they keep it in bounds?
oh, it appears not. A beautiful onside kick. It was not retrieved by the Highlands Ranch Falcons, but it did skid its way out of bounds, thus making it Falcons football.
That was, and they're going to discuss it here. They might say that it was recovered, and they will say it was the Highlands Ranch out of bounds. An unfortunate play from Mountain Vista. They did get a recovery just slightly
Too
into
late.
the sideline.
But a great kick by Ethan Love. It's good to know that when you need these plays like an onside kick or a squib, that you have the right man kicking it.
And maybe this defense can get a turnover. They still have 2 timeouts left. There is still plenty of time for Mountain Vista to do something.
Can see, yep, a handoff. They most likely will just be eating away at Mountain Vista's timeout, and that one was even good for another first down, which
They will mark it a yard short.
Yep, a 2nd and inches as it appears, and no timeout called. We'll see how the rest of this plays out.
Surprised by the no timeout call. It appears as though Coach Cash may have thought that onside kick was their last toe. And
Rubley keeps the ball. Yes, he makes the cut to stay in bounds as expected because he wants to keep this clock rolling, and there's a timeout called.
There's a timeout with, no, there's not. They will keep the ball rolling. They just stopped it momentarily with the first down, but Jacob Rubley's run there might have been the dagger.
Yep, you always focus on the one play that kind of finishes it all off, and I believe if that wasn't it,
it is coming with the lack of timeouts called with now under 2 minutes to play.
Rubley stays with it again, good for about a yard.
And they will keep it again. Folks, we hope you enjoyed listening to this one. Don't forget to tune in next week for senior night as the Mountain Vista Golden Eagles take on the Rock Canyon Jaguars. Coverage begins right here at 7 o'clock on VistaNow. That is going to be our new song as Nathan Tubbs has begun to produce. As they have all the... It is senior night for Highlands Ranch. This team, a win. They needed to win out as well. They would finish with a 4-6 record and have a chance to finish in the top 24 to make the postseason. And, well, Jake Rubley could make an interesting playoff run. You know, a loss in the next couple of games, as they're currently ranked 19th in RPI, could knock them down. They have to stay top 24, as I said, make the postseason, and there's nobody that can make a Cinderella run, I think, like Jake Rubley could for the Highlands Ranch Falcons.
A little mic mishap there.
Little tap of the wire by our crew.
Rubley takes the snap, hands it off.
Our passionate fans have left us, it appears.
They are still here. They are just silenced, marking a bitter, bitter defeat of the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, now that I look down, they do look cold and disappointed. With
As
a minute
are
39 to go.
As are we. I believe that was the Golden Eagles' final timeout. Now within a minute and 40 seconds to go, that may just be the dagger. And how unfortunate it is to say that out loud.
Tubby going along with our Highlands Ranch band music, if you can't hear it on the crowd mic.
It's my way of staying moving. It's also
moving and grooving.
It's an auditory thing too. If I'm moving, the grooving is also being had.
Just like this Highlands Ranch offense. Well, they did not score in the second half. They didn't need to.
Yeah, that's also a good thing to take away from this. Is that the Golden Eagles have held them to 0 scores here in the second half. I did not even realize that, to be quite honest. And that's a great takeaway, to be able to hold this high-powered offense to 0 points in this second half.
Our producer, Blaze Shower, is not as pleased, being a little impatient and feisty.
The clock just winding down.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. A delay of game called with 49 seconds to go. With 49 seconds to go.
2 more plays. Well, this ball is being punted.
And
a little squibber.
You can call that a punt. I will not. And we'll see if they can get 11 points within the last 39 seconds of the game. It is highly unlikely, but it has been done before. At all levels. It is brisk, and it is, well, nearing the end.
40 seconds to go.
We'd like to thank all our crew here at VistaNow.
Yep.
Our cameraman, Zach Zemensky, and Jack the Freshman. Our producer, Blaze Shower. And along with my lovely play-by-play colleague, Nathan Tubbs, I am Bryce Tracy.
And that ball is intercepted.
And that is it.
Oh.
That is legitimately it. Now Jake Rubley will kneel once, and we will call it a night.
And that is not really the way I would have liked to have seen it end. I would have loved to see them fight tooth and nail till the last second ticked off the clock. But what a disappointing way to ice it out is an interception. And in the great words of whoever said this first, that's all she wrote.
Highlands Ranch Falcons, 1st and 10 on the 30.
I'm sure it was a man watching a woman write.
If we're looking at this from a technical standpoint, I would have to agree with you.
That's it.
And there it is. You'll have to see good sportsmanship still. And you can see the hype as Rubley skips off the field. What a great game it was. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, stay tuned to VistaNow, as we will have all the games, all the sports videos all the highlights, everything you could ask for. If you don't watch this broadcast, make sure to watch the highlights. Thank you and good night.